but I was mentally tired, constantly tired. And looking back, it wasn't because the moment was hard. It was because I was carrying too many moments at once. You have to perform in the present. And the mistake that so many athletes and humans make was we try to do more than one, even all three at the same time. And once that ball is out of your hand, once that swing is done, let it go. You can't do anything else. There is nothing that you can do to affect the outcome when it's in the past. When your identity is clear, that pressure drops because you don't have to prove who you are at every rep. It is who you are. Past has one job, and that's to teach you. The future has one job, and that's to pull you forward. Present is where you play. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Next Season Podcast, episode 40. There have been stretches of my playing career, and more importantly, my life, where nothing was actually wrong, but everything felt heavy. I wasn't injured, wasn't outworked, wasn't unprepared, but I was mentally tired, constantly tired. And looking back, it wasn't because the moment was hard. It was because I was carrying too many moments at once. I'd be in the cage thinking about a bad at bat from the day before or the week before, or up in the on deck circle thinking about what this at bat might mean for my spot in the lineup, or driving home thinking about what I needed to do next season, next year, next phase of life. What I didn't realize at the time was that it wasn't that I was unfocused. I was focused on the wrong moment. And if you listen to the episode 39, the previous episode, you know the framework. I talked all about this. We've got energy blocks. We've got 3 energy blocks. We've got 3 phases that we can devote our time, attention, and energy to. Past, the present, and the future. Whatever's next. We've got one job, one responsibility for each of those phases. You have to process the past. You cannot perform in the past. You can't prepare for the past. You can only process the past. You have to perform in the present. And the mistake that so many athletes and humans make is we try to do more than one, even all 3 at the same time. And that's when that pressure builds up and we feel it physically, and our confidence starts to feel fake instead of like we have it and it's earned, right? Earned confidence, the evidence of the work done. And so today I want to give you some simple practical tools that you can use after any game, certainly a bad game, before a big moment, or when your mind just won't shut off and you're ruminating, you're thinking, you're catastrophizing, you're planning, you're over analytical. These are tools that are going to help you put your time and energy, attention to where they actually belong, right? In each of those specific phases. Some of these I use myself and I've used in the past and continue to use. Some of these I've used with players and professionals and executives who were stuck, who were spiraling, maybe even burned out. And all of them are built around one goal, helping you to get out of your own head and back into the moment that actually matters. Let's get into it. Again, if you have not listened to episode 39, which dives into, really what this is about in each of these phases and some of the neuroscience behind it, definitely stop right now. Go check that one out. But I want to give you a couple tools that you can use in each of these phases. So if something has already happened, you don't need to carry it into the next rep, right? Into the present moment, into the future. Something's already happened. You need to process it, and then you need to release it. And here's a simple practical framework that I use and teach. It's called acknowledge, accept, and act. Very simple. 3 A's. Acknowledge what happened, right? You just face the fact, like this happened. I acknowledge it. The next is accepting it. You accept that it happened without attaching it to your identity. So acknowledging is, factually it happened. Accepting it is becoming okay and just kind of sitting with it and saying, you may not like it. Like, I don't like the fact that it's getting colder and winter is here, right? I acknowledged in October, November that winter was coming. I can't fight it. So I accept it. I'm going to make the most of it. And act is, what am I going to do about it? Act is when you extract that lesson. What can you learn from it? How can you apply this lesson? How can you release the emotional charge so it doesn't burden you, it doesn't hold you? And what will you do? What action will you take? What actions will you take to move forward, to handle it, to acknowledge, accept, and act? And that's how you respect the past without living it. So the first tool is write it out. Okay. This one is a very simple and powerful tool. I want you to write down everything that you're holding on to, no filter. Like, just if you're frustrated, be frustrated. If you're angry, be angry. If you have regrets, share it. If you're disappointed in something, whatever, like whatever those feelings are. And some of you, you practice journaling or you have a journaling practice already. That's great. Others, maybe you think that's a little woo. That's fine. Try this. I want you to just write down, and it's just a brain dump of thoughts, words, emotions, feelings, whatever. You're putting it out there. There's no filter, right? Write down what you wish you did. Write down what you're afraid of and why you might be afraid of it. Like, everything you want to get out. And there's no time limit on this. You can do it for a couple of minutes. You can do it for an hour. You can do one page. You can do 50 pages. You just get it out there. Once it's out there, once you're done, you feel like you've released all of these feelings. And I'm going to encourage you to handwrite it and not type it. It has a different physiological impact when you do that. The reticular activating system and a couple other things, when you actually physically write it down, it makes it a little bit more real. But once you have it all written out, once you take that paper or papers and either rip them up or light them on fire. Obviously, do it safely. Okay. You don't need to burn the house down. Just do it safely. But here's why this works. And your brain processes that written language differently than just thinking about it, certainly just typing. And then putting it on paper activates the prefrontal cortex, and it helps reduce that emotional load from the limbic system. You're telling your brain, this has been acknowledged. We're done here. And by you ripping it up and burning it, you're helping to kind of symbolically put it in the past and move on from it and be done with it. It's still there, right? It still happened, but you're saying, I've got control over this and I'm going to let it go. That's the first tool, is write it out and destroy it. Second tool, very similar, but it's writing a letter that you don't send. If someone else is involved, a coach, a teammate, a parent, a loved one, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, even yourself, write a letter. Say everything that you won't say out loud. Sometimes write two letters. I've done this recently where I had a situation where I had to write two letters. One was the raw, emotional, almost childish response, like the hurt. This is the hurt, right? This is the visceral reaction that you're going to get from me if I could tell you how I really feel. And then the other one was the polished, right? This is the mature. This is the ideal version. Um, this is the adult version of the response, right? Looking at it from a more mature perspective. So sometimes it's good to write both. You don't have to send them. You don't need closure from them. You need closure from inside your own nervous system. That's going to help you process the past. These are two simple, free, at home tools that you can use. And there are others, like, if you want to get into cognitive behavioral therapy, there's something called internal family systems therapy, IFS, which is great. You can talk with trusted people. I always caution, careful not to ruminate. A lot of times in like talk therapy, it turns into some rumination for some folks, and it kind of doesn't help them. Others, it works great. But you certainly want to be careful not to ruminate too much or have an echo chamber where you're just repeating the same thoughts and words over and over and over, and then certainly getting validation from somebody without being challenged on things. But again, I'm not a doctor or a licensed therapist. I also personally deeply anchor myself to my faith, my relationship with Jesus. I seek him out for counsel and for closure and peace, right? So I try to slow down and I try to listen. And that may not be for you, but if it is, that's certainly tool number one for all three of these energy blocks, right? In how you can process the past and how you can stay present in the present moment and perform in that present moment. And then ways that you can seek to follow, right? And how you plan and prepare for the future and the way that you approach that. So that's an anchor for me as well. So that's the past, right? We've got writing it out and burning it. We've got writing a letter that you never send. Now let's talk about the present moment. Some things you can do in the present moment. You don't think your way back. into the present. But you can breathe. You can act to the present. So tool number 3 in the first tool of performing in the present is a breathing practice. When that pressure hits you, right, and you feel that tension in your neck, you feel yourself shaking like it. For me, it's tension in the neck. It's shorter breath. It's feeling warmer and hotter, sweating and shakes. That's what I feel. And when I feel that, what I can do is I can take a slow inhale through the nose and a longer exhale out of the mouth. And that longer exhale is going to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the calm and control system, right? If I want to increase my alertness and increase my focus, then I can take longer inhales and shorter exhales, and that's going to make me more alert, more awake. But if I want to calm down, okay, a slow inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth is going to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. I'm going to help calm down, bring myself back into that present moment, and I've got more control and agency. So breathing practice, really understanding those different techniques for breathing. And box breathing is a great one. There's a bunch of different methods out there, but definitely explore those as a useful, free, simple tool. The fourth tool, present, is something that I've started to call power presence words. And it might be one or two words, but it's got to be yours. It's got to be personal to you. So I work with some youth athletes as well. And we come up, I challenge them to come up with their own. They're very similar to ones that work with adult athletes and professionals and executives. They're little anchor words, that reminders to say you're in control. And it's a way to recenter your focus on that thing. So I've talked about this before with my son. When he's up at bat, he wrote on his bat, be, see, do. Be present, be me, be loose, be free. Whatever that be is just be. See the ball, do damage. That's it. You don't have to overthink it. In his glove, he wrote, be, prep, execute. Be loose, be free, be him. Okay. Prep steps, and then execute. Execute the play. You don't have to overthink it. You know what you're doing when the ball's hit to you. You prep, you execute. Okay. Smooth, free, see it, compete, presence, tact, whatever those words are for you. Clear, in the movie, we talked about this before in the movie, For Love of the Game. He's got clear the mechanism, I think is what it is. See, clear the mechanism. Right. That's his power presence words of saying nothing else matters right now. It's me in the mid. I'm going to execute. So come up with those power presence words and reset yourself in that present moment and just go out there and compete. And once that ball is out of your hand, once that swing is done, let it go. You can't do anything else. The ball's out of your hand. Right? The swing is complete. There is nothing that you can do to affect the outcome when it's in the past. The only thing you can do is reset and be in that present moment and prepare for the future. These are not motivational speeches. These are anchors. These are, you say it quietly in your head before every pitch, before every swing or rep. And this works because your attention is going to follow that language that you tell yourself. Okay. So those are two quick tools for performing in the present. And there's a ton more, but those are just two I want to give you real quick. Let's talk about the future. The future work belongs outside competition window. What I mean by that is you cannot, when you're in that mode of competition and you need to be present in that competition or, that meeting, that relationship, that tough conversation, you can't be thinking about what's going on, what might happen in the future. You can't think about the ambition that you have, the goals you have, the aspirations you have, desires you have. You can't think about all the terrible scenarios that could go wrong. You have to be able to perform in the present moment. And then the phase where you sit down and think about, okay, I want to plan for the future intentionally. I want to think about the scenarios that could happen, the what ifs. I want to think about how I'm going to goal set and I'm going to attack this plan. That's the phase that you live in when you want to prepare for the future. Let's talk about specific things that you can do when you want to have ambition without attachment and when you want to be able to prepare for the future. Next tool is values. And actually it's values and creating this creative player, this ideal version of yourself. It's who you want to be and how you want to show up. What kind of competitor you want to be? What kind of values do you want to be known for? And make your decisions and live your life based upon, or no matter what, your core values of who you are, truly. How do you respond and how do you want to respond when things go sideways? This is going to help you stabilize your identity. So this tool is all about coming up with your specific values, your no matter what's, and then your create a player, your identity. And when your identity is clear, that pressure drops because you don't have to prove who you are at every rep. It is who you are. You're just going out there and performing. So you establish your values and you create a player, the ideal version of you, the character traits that you have. And then you think about what are the things that I need to do in order for that person to show up. When I'm at my best, what does that look like? Who is that? And then you think about the behaviors associated with those things and the character traits and the attributes associated with that version of you, and you work on those. That's values work, that's create a player, and that's tool number 1 for preparing for the future. Along with that, the next tool is identity-based goals. So again, we're thinking about the goals that you have, the ambitions that you have, the things that you want to achieve or accomplish, or things that you want to get, the desires, those true things in your heart. And when I say this, it's not like, oh, that sounds like a cool idea. I would like that too. It's things that you think about constantly, right? Like certain ideas, certain businesses that you want to, a business you want to start, or a relationship you want to have, or something you want to accomplish, a physical feat that you want to accomplish. But it is with you constantly. You're thinking about it for weeks, months, every single day. That is something that then you can pursue because that's been imprinted on your heart and your mind for a reason. Okay. So instead of thinking about, I need X stats, I need this thing, I'm the type of player who prepares relentlessly. I compete with composure. I respond quickly. You step away from the results and the outputs, and you think about who you become and who you need to be in order to pursue and achieve those goals. These goals will then stick because then they're within your control. So the second tool for preparing for the future is establishing identity-based goals. The next tool for preparing for the future is visualization and mental reps or scenario reps. And what I want you to do with these, I want you to spend a couple minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. I want you to picture yourself in those tough moments. Maybe it's on the field, maybe it's off the field. Okay. But I want you to think about what those tough moments are. Who's around you? What's the weather like? What are you feeling? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? Okay. Feeling, what are you feeling in your body? What's the somatic feeling? Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel loose? What are your nerves like? Right. And then all of that, you want to tell yourself, yet I execute. It's showing up when that pressure is rising and being somebody who performs under that pressure. Mental reps strengthen those neural pathways the same way that physical reps do without that wear and tear. And you're training your brain to say, I've been here before. A lot of times when we think about real pressure is being in a situation you haven't been before and expected to perform in a key moment, in a big moment. But when you visualize, you're essentially saying to your brain, I've been here before. And when you are actually physically in that moment, your brain has a really tough time distinguishing between that moment being brand new and fresh for you, which of course is going to cause nerves and anxiety and pressure, versus you've been here before. You may not have been there physically, but you've been there mentally. And so you're more ready than anybody else. Okay. So visualization and mental reps, great tool to practice. Here's the truth that I wish that I learned earlier. You don't need to relive the past in order to respect it. You don't need to live in the future to be ambitious. And you definitely don't need to carry all of those moments with you at one time. That's not toughness. That's overload. Past has one job, and that's to teach you. The future has one job, and that's to pull you forward. Present is where you play. Present is where you perform. You can't perform yesterday. You can't perform tomorrow. You can only perform right here, where your feet are, where your heart is, where your breath is, where your attention is. And when you learn to process what already happened and perform where you are and prepare for what's next and then let it go, that's when your confidence is going to stop being fragile It's when that pressure is going to stop owning you. And that's when the game slows down and life feels lighter. Not because things got easier, but because you finally put your energy in the right place. That's how you stay aggressive. That's how you stay free. And that's how you keep moving forward into your next season. That's exactly what this is. If this is helpful, share it with a friend, teammate, a coach, a parent, an athlete. If you try any of this out, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching, hit me up on Instagram, a next season coach, or visit the website. The links to all those are in the notes. Go get yours. I'll see you next time.